He's got
Well, good morning, everybody, to week 6 and our final week of Mind Gym. A fascinating and important topic today, visualization for success. As we start, is there anything that you would like to discuss or anything you'd be happy to share about your journey this week, knowing that, it doesn't have to be a properly formed question and knowing that sharing helps everybody?
I'm happy to share the homework we've done when we get to it.
I think that's a great idea. Just share a little bit about that, and then we can go into our visualization.
So I actually struggled to find. Well, I'll start with a performance goal. The performance goal is the same goal as before, to maintain 100% focus on in the Hobart race on the three priorities of mine, which is the crew management, the boat management, and the course management. And then I wrote down all the activities, 3 for each, and they were prepare. This is the first one, obviously. Prepare crew roles, acclimate crew to boat policies, and provided clear instructions prior to any action. And then for boat management, I had prepare the boat systems, organise all the spare parts, and create checklists. And for course management, I had gathering all data, preparing strategy, and refining strategy and tactics during the race. So that was my performance goal. And the other one I wanted to share with you, which I struggle with a few things, but the other one was the rules for rational thoughts. So it had 6, and I put down, the first one I put down was common sense. The second one was no such thing as anything being unfair. Third one was doing everything to the best of my ability. The fourth one was dealing with the situation by pushing emotion to one side at the time. The fifth one being it is what it is, and the sixth one being focusing on the priorities as they arise.
They all sound great.
That's what I've done. And then the third one, I'll just quickly go through the performance mind. And what I struggled was to find something that caused stress recently. I haven't had any real stress, but so I made one up, and that was last week. I had this situation this is quite minor, but getting the sat phone hooked up so it worked for the race, because I got to get it done through a US company, and I couldn't get it to work or be operational for about a week. And so the mood and the emotion was letting the team down, and the automatic thought was, why is it always something prior to the race? Because every year there's something that you can't control yourself. So it's out of your control, but it's something you have to get done, right?
Mm.
And then the behavior is, why is it always so hard? And now it's working. It was a huge relief. And the third one, the last one, was I had to have more faith in my ability. So the more effective response was, I should have known I could have got it done, but I was stressed about it not being done, but it needed time. And the potential outcome was I needed to be cool-headed about it, and the same with all situations. It's like, it's a small thing, becomes a big thing for a week, and at the end it's been taken care of. So I worked on it all weekend with the guy in California on the phone and got it working. So that's my performance mind to share with the group.
Carl, that's a fabulous performance mind. And using something small that we get agitated about is really smart. So what we want to learn, if I can just jam with you about that for a minute, is that all right with you if we talk about that for a moment? Yep. So what we want to learn from that is the natural place you might go to, which sounds like you might make like generalized things. So why does it always happen? Sort of like, well, it sounds like it's like saying it shouldn't happen, right? But actually it always happens. Part of it.
It's always something.
It's always happening. So so the question is, do you in other parts of your life say this shouldn't happen? Or why does it always, meaning bigger? Like it does always happen every year, but everything doesn't happen. In the scheme of the number of things that you have to do to get ready for the Hobart, the number of things that go wrong is probably quite small. Is that right?
Yeah, as a percentage, sure.
Yeah. So that's just, so when it hits you and you feel like you're spiraling, you want to jump in with those rules for rational thought.
Yeah.
It's a great example. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, we just.
That's what I wanted to ask, Liz. Like when you go spiraling, I mean, it happens I think to everyone and to me too, so what do you do? How do you prevent that? How do you stop?
Yeah, great question. Great question. So there's a number of things you can do, right? One is if you've got your journal and you're noticing things, if that's the first time, Carl, I don't know if you've done that before, but if it's the first time you've really looked at how to restructure your thought, do exactly what you did, which is you found a different rule for thought, right? Like you found just do it or just focus on it, whatever. So that builds a muscle. The other thing is, if you know, you can actually block it. It's a really good use of an affirmation. If we can create some sort of word or phrase, it's a positive and present version of how you want to be. Like what Carl just said was, I don't know if it was just something, do it, just focus on the task. Like whatever the word is, you just basically repeat it to yourself, blocking it. So it stops the spiral. And my favorite one is the mind is wood. So you're just stopping yourself thinking, right? My mind's wood. Just do it.
Yeah.
And then you ride through it.
Yeah. Basically, it's creating a habit that then eventually kind of becomes just the first thought, right? It's like, yeah, I guess everything is like that, just creating that muscle, like you said, that memory.
Yep. So after this call, I will send you a little note on how to create a powerful personal affirmation, which is, it's not like the mystic, sounds a bit sort of mystic and woo-woo, but actually there's a lot of science around it, but you want to make it personalized. And you can send it to me if you like, and we can sort of refine it.
Okay. Thank you.
These are really powerful insights. Thank you. Tina, do you have anything to share before we move on?
Yes, I enjoyed the questionnaire that we did, and Carl and I compared our questionnaire, and we're very different on some of the outcomes and very similar on some. So it was just interesting for Carl and I to do it together. Great,
yeah. So Tina, one of the great things is if you can talk to each other about the ones you're different on. I don't know if you tried that, but like sort of like debating each other. Like I don't know if you one person had something about you've got to be perfect all the time, then the other person might go, that's crazy. Like, why would you have to be perfect all the time, or something like that? And then tell them why you think you don't have to be like that. That's a good use of that questionnaire.
Good, thank you. We've just got drilling at the house, so I'm going to go outside.
All right. So I thought we could stay in gallery today because it helps us feel more connected. But if we remember the process for this, I'll just share a little bit so you remember, and then we'll see it for our time. You have one slide? Yep, great. So remember when we started this is the mind part of our preparation, but that we have been preparing our capabilities with the work you've been doing through the weekly focus, and we're preparing our ability to be present through the mind gym, so that in the moment of the Hobart, you're performing at your best. So the general process has been that you've been working on building your capacity, with your energy base, with your physical work, with the mental skills, with the way you've been looking at how your thoughts can be restructured, emotionally with both the meditations and this process we've done this week with our belief systems and how it links into our emotion. And then spiritually, because we've looked at building all of these activities in the direction of what's important to you. Then with our mind, we started with this base of attention, then we went to awareness, acceptance, and with that solid platform of the mind, we looked at how to direct our mind towards virtuous or positive outcomes, right? So attention was about focusing on the task at hand. We did that in our first week. Awareness was about broadening our capacity to notice what's going on all the time, which is really helpful to do both of those things in particularly difficult times on the boat. We looked at making sure we could cultivate acceptance more quickly. So it's a little bit like Carl's example. It's the more quickly he can accept that things were going to go wrong the week beforehand and you just deal with it, the more you get back into your performance state. We looked at generating more psychological safety and safety for ourselves by practicing sending people goodwill. So it was a reminder when things are tense that we're actually wishing everybody goodwill. It's a reminder when things that that we wanted to actually be taking people's suffering and sending out peace or goodwill or happiness or whatever. It's another way to practice our emotional skills and generate the positivity that creates performance. And then today we're going to use a classic technique, which is incredibly powerful, visualization. So what we want to do today and this week is generate the power of the mind for performance by imagining you performing at your best throughout the entire Hobart. Now, what's important here is that we are focusing on the process as well as the outcome, but mostly on the process. It's a little bit like we've just heard Carl go through all these steps of the preparation. What we want to do is imagine the race as it unfolds perfectly, and you're responding perfectly. So you're not in complete control, but you're responding. So you might want to be imagining the perfect jibe. You might want to be imagining the perfect description of instructions. Carl, I heard you say that you want to describe or ask people to do things in a very clear way. So all of these things roll out, whatever's most powerful to you. And there's two ways to visualize. You choose whatever works for you. You can imagine like someone watching you, like Bettina and I are watching you all on the boat with the Zoom camera, or you can imagine it from inside out. For me, I'm most powerfully changed when I imagine I'm observing it and then I feel it out. So if you imagine, say, a bicep curl in the gym, right? You might see someone perfectly holding their elbows in the right place, just a little bit forward, so they've got full extension of their muscle. But then when you are imagining yourself doing it perfectly, you could continue that, or you could imagine the actual muscle movement. Any questions? Because all we're going to do is relax, and I'm going to go in to allow you to imagine. Tina, you might be doing the perfect beginning. You know, as the boat's getting set up and there's a rush around in the morning with the food and preparation, all that stuff. You might imagine that going smoothly, or you responding to the problems peacefully. Yeah. Any questions? Oh, Carl, you meant okay. So let's just relax for a moment. Take 3 deep breaths, settle into your space. Turn your cameras off if you'd like. And letting the rushing of getting up go away. Let any anxieties about the day disappear. Relaxing into your body. Let's take 3 deep breaths. As we relax, let's notice the sensation of breathing at the point of the nostril. This helps us focus. Become aware of the cool air going in and the warm air coming out. Not trying to change your breath, just experiencing the breath. And now in your own time, I invite you to see the entire Hobart race from beginning to end, unfolding in front of you with perfect execution. Focus on the way you're acting, the way the team's interacting, and see the process unfolding just as you would like it to be. Eventually noticing the outcome and the feeling of winning the race. Do this in your own way, focusing on what's important to you until I come back to you. If at any time you get distracted, just return to the breath and then to the visualization. When you're ready, begin to close off this visualization by getting incredible clarity over how it is that you experience the end of this race, the outcome, who you're with, how you feel, and what does it mean to have sailed perfectly throughout the big race. Using all of your senses, immerse yourself in this feeling. And in your own time, I invite you to take your attention back to your breath, this time to the chest. Become aware of the sensation of breathing and the way your body's feeling right now. Notice any ways that your body has changed, that your breath has changed, that your mind has changed, that your heart has changed. And begin to bring your attention and your awareness back into your space, moving your body to wake up a little, And when you're ready, open your eyes. As we close, it'd be great to hear a little about that experience for you. Anything to share, anybody?
The visualization to me was actually, I don't know why this is, but it had a lot to do just with the weather and things all connecting and going from shift to shift and doing it seamlessly. So it's sort of something I didn't expect, to be honest. Yeah,
I'm very glad to hear that. So it's like it's like the transitions and your responses.
Yeah, just every transition was really good, and we actually did well every time. So it's just sort of like really smooth. So
that's I think that was what I was hoping might be your visualization, Carl. Because am I right in understanding that's one of the keys to success in this race?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, right. So it's this perfect adaptation, is it right? So it's you've done the preparation, then it's adapting in the moment. Is that right?
Yeah, being in the moment, just going from shift to shift, so you're always ahead, and you're gaining every time rather than losing every time. So you got to be on the right side of it. So that's what I came into my mind.
Be great if you could keep that up this week, Carl. Anyone else?
Yeah, what came into my mind was just like that, just seamless maneuvers, crew and we all overlooked, any potential, rope knot or something that might happen. So we were all on top of the game. We responded to every single gust properly in the trim, and the boat was just always maintaining the right angle of heel, and that was it. And I just like the gain, I just visualized that we were extending our gain bit by bit.
Fantastic. Hey Tina, how'd you go?
Good. So my visualization was basically from this week and all the preparation and logistics leading up to the actual boat leaving the dock. So that, for me, it was a different journey, but it was, being very organized and calm and just getting to that moment. And then the end of the journey was us watching the start of the race. So my visualization was quite different from the crew.
Right. Thank you all. This is bringing our Mind Gym to the end, but your practice continues. I'm here for any questions that you want to ask for now. And is there anything? So our time's up, but I'm here as long as you want.
Really enjoyed it, Liz. I found it so beneficial, and particularly at this time of the year to be focusing on a healthy mind for such a great goal to have at the end of the year. It's been really powerful and quite surprising at times. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. It's been as always. You just learn all these little small parts of it, and you can put together. But a lot of the prep work I've done and the work on the performance mind has been really beneficial for me. But also, the clarity. So having a very clear view of what needs to happen and how to do that in the heat of battle.
Great metaphor. Thanks, Carl. All right, guys. I can't hear you, Mara.
Just wanted to say thank you for this, and thanks, Carl and Bettina, for organizing this. This is just, I think it's great. It's just, everyone should do this.
To keep visualizing this week. I'll see you on the 26th, but we're in touch all the time if you want. Yeah.
Thanks, Liz, for your support.
Thanks, Liz.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Great job.